a bit of news, just an update on what's been going on in the awards race since the last time we were here a week ago. There has been some kind of late breaking results. We did have the WAG Awards, the Writers Guild Awards, which just happened last night. We're recording this on Monday the 9th. So not a huge surprise there. The One Battle After Another took adapted screenplay and Sinners took original screenplay. So anybody who was hoping for another data point that would separate the two front runners, well, they were in separate categories, so sorry, and they both won their categories. Minor awards that have happened recently, we had the Cinematography Awards, the ASC Awards recently. One Battle After Another took top prize there. If you're into sound, F1 got the top prize at the Cinema Audio Society Awards, and then the next day, yesterday, at the Motion Picture Sound Editors Awards, Sinners got Best Sound Editing, Dialogue, ADR, and Frankenstein, surprisingly, won Best Editing, Effects, and Foley. What else has happened in the last week? Do we have to talk about...
There's a little bit of news. There's another winner you didn't mention. The Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show awarded Jessie Buckley Best Actress and Cat Hater. I don't know if you saw the news there, but yeah, I'm fired up.
I forgot about the Jessie Buckley hates cats thing. It's kind of been overshadowed by what I think we need to talk about, which is the Timothée Chalamet hates the ballet and opera thing. Yeah. These are dumb scandals, right? These are stupid scandals.
So dumb. They are so dumb, but like perfect. This is exactly what I want. I like put this in my veins.
I do have a thought on the Chalamet one, which is informed from. I recently watched Nouvelle Vague.
You gotta sing it. You gotta sing it.
No. So I recently watched Nouvelle Vague, which I liked. And I also rewatched Inglourious Bastards recently. And with those in mind, I just want to underscore how important it is to have like an annoying little guy who says outlandish things about art, but nevertheless makes like good work.
All right. So you guys all know what I'm talking about. I mean, most people listening surely have been exposed to it unless you're blissfully offline. But just to quickly resume, so we're all on the same page and everybody listening knows what we're talking about. There was like a CNN town hall that Timothée Chalamet was a part of, as if he's like running for the Democratic primary or something. I think it was February 21st that this was held, though it went online a couple days later. He was talking with Matthew McConaughey about all kinds of stuff, the fast-paced pattern between those two guys covering all kinds of subjects. But they were specifically talking about kind of the state of cinema and the future of cinema going forward, and choices that some producers are making to cater to corroded audience attention spans and stuff like that. He said the line that has now been clipped many times, which is, "I don't want to be working in like ballet or opera or things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore." Which he immediately followed up with, "All respect to all the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership. Damn, I just took shots for no reason." Nobody seemed to notice or care at the time, but the clip did start going viral. The genesis of it going viral seems to be a post by Seth Abramovich on X. Seth Abramovich is a senior writer with The Hollywood Reporter. On Thursday evening, I guess it would have been around 3:30 p.m. California time. He posted that isolated clip with the disapproving caption, "Okay, I did not hear this. This sucks." And then there was kind of a spiraling virality throughout the day Friday, kind of accumulating, I guess, on Saturday when a lot of people started coming out with disapproving, clucking takes. Tons of posts about it on Instagram, TikTok. Articles started to come out about it. I'm being a stickler about the dates and even the time for a reason, and that's because Oscar voting closed Thursday at 5 p.m. California time.
That was going to be my question: is the voting open or closed during the scandal?
So it closed. Technically, it closed 90 minutes approximately after Seth Abramovich's post. but it hadn't, really become viral yet at that point. And obviously, most people are not voting in the final 90 minutes. So I think a lot of people are maybe voting late, and I would like to touch on that after. But the timeline basically makes it impossible for this to have influenced anybody's votes.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's irrelevant. Like, I think this might be kind of a symptom of the way that the public perception of Chalamet has changed over the course of this too long campaign, because it has been a too long award season. Craig, what was your immediate reaction when you saw that clip or heard about it?
Lol. I don't know. it's funny.
All right, so that's Craig's take.
I'm not scandalized by this. Is like I'm not.
How dare you not be scandalized?
Not scandalized by this. It's like a pretty lukewarm thing to get really fired up about, because he's not eloquent about it, but I think he's making a reasonable point that he doesn't want to be actively working in a dying art form. He wants to be kind of at the spear's tip, the cutting edge, and that tracks with what he has been saying all season, but even going back to last season, he wants to be the best. He wants to be at the tip of the spear, and I'm not surprised to hear this. And everybody is talking about how cinema is in danger, and I think that is something that the world's biggest movie star right now, who's actually putting butts in seats in the theater, is going to be concerned about. So I don't think that he's super out of line here. Sure, it was not the best way to put it, but all the people that are fired up about this, when was the last time they were at the ballet or opera? I would guess it is not recent.
Yeah.
Rory, did you have any thoughts on this?
I feel the same way as Craig. It's the most non-scandal, because I see it, and I've seen since I feel like I've seen other clips that are this one's from 2019 and he said the same thing, and it's
I've seen that too.
So yes. he was also
he's consistent.
he was in his earlier 20s then, so even kind of more arrogant and whatever, and it's I think it has more to do with people wanting to not like Timothée Chalamet, and then he's in movies that you like and you're like, fuck him. Not the opera. Don't come for my opera.
I'm on the same page as you guys. People need a reason to get mad at him, and this is what they've seized on, and it is a bad controversy. The people yearn for Carla Sofia Gascon. We need a real controversy again. Carla, save us.
But it's funny you bring that up, because that was an opera, and the same people that are fired up about Timothy's fame were trying to take down an opera.
I don't think he said anything wrong. Obviously, saying nobody cares about it is a rude, brusque way to say that. But everybody understands that rhetorically, the point he's trying to make is that that's a niche industry today. That is a niche art form that has a limited following, and that he does not want cinema to be that. He does not want to work in a niche art form where you have to devote your energies into sustaining the existence of your art form, when you'd rather be devoting your energies to practicing your art and in the spotlight.
Yourself, and that's what he should have said. Exactly.
He should have thought on his feet faster when McConaughey was
slide into his DMs.
But my take is basically, I think that I don't want Timmy to change. I like that he's out there. He's really saying what's on his mind all the time. He's very voluble. He's very excitable. And I want a movie star to be like that. I want a movie star to not be afraid to express themselves. I don't want a movie star to be like Leo DiCaprio, who doesn't want to say anything unless it's a vague presidential statement. I don't necessarily want a movie star to be like Tom Cruise, who's decided that his public role is to be a cheerleader for the general concept of movies themselves, but has no specific opinions about anything, apparently. I also don't want a movie star to be like Sean Penn, who is just performing the idea of blasé detachment so that everybody knows that he's cooler than this lame industry he happens to work in. I want a movie star to be excitable and talkative, and to be deeply engaged in the art form as an art form and as a business, because that's a big part of it too. And I want them to have opinions. So I have nothing wrong with this, and I hope he doesn't. I hope Timmy doesn't change. But yeah, it does. And we'll talk about this maybe when we get to the best actor category 5 hours down the road. But it may. The way that so many people have leaped on this definitely shows how much of an appetite there was out there for people to be like, yeah, he's just got to slip up once and I'm jumping all over him.
Totally. Yeah.
Now the cat thing though, that pissed me off.
That was messed
pissed me off too. that I got more of like an actual emotional reaction to that than I did the Timothy thing. Just like, well, like a huge cat lover here, so like it struck a nerve, but it just is like it was the way it came across as just being like so, I don't know, flippant and laughing about it. Like, I made my husband get rid of his cats because I don't like them.
Nothing to me.
Yeah, it is a stupid little scandal, but also I was like, yeah, fuck Jessie Buckley. I don't want her to win. I said that on the podcast before she even said that. I even more don't want her to win.
Yeah.
I think that Jessie Buckley HQ has done a bunch of damage control on this, because I saw it. And I saw a reference to it on her Wikipedia page, which my customary Wikipedia skim before the podcast. And then the next day I was talking to a friend about it, and I checked and it was gone from the Wikipedia page. And then when I went to go Google, all of the news articles were like, Jessie Buckley clarifies stance on cats with I think a Fallon interview. So my sense is that it's being taken quite seriously.
Whereas Timothée Chalamet, well, like thousands of ballerinas are clamoring for a public apology, is currently in China, like going on game shows and like tasting sweet tea and having a good grand old time, it seems like. So as I mentioned earlier, it does seem like a lot of people are voting later, and there is a reason for that. So this is something that I wanted to mention briefly, because me and you, Craig, we have not yet talked about on the show the fact that there is a wrinkle to the voting that has been added this year. The horrible, brutal tyrants that run the Academy are legislating that everybody has to actually see the movies to vote on a category. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. They expect these people to actually watch films. So as you may or may not know, for several years by now, the Academy has worked with an online screening room, kind of their own cute little Netflix, where they put all the nominated movies in there. And it's been the case for a couple of years, I think now, that for some niche categories like, documentary and the shorts, you have to have actually watched the movies in the screening room, has to have recorded that you have played the movie all the way through before that category becomes unlocked and you can actually vote on it. This year, for the first time, they instituted that for every category, requiring, in theory, Academy voters to have seen every movie before it's able to be voted on. Of course, there's a workaround, because if you see the movie in theaters, you have to be able to still say that you've seen it. So
you gotta swear on a DVD copy of The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah. When they first reference this, there is reference to if you indicate that I saw this movie in the theaters, you'd have to indicate like the date and the specific theater you saw it at. I'm not sure if they actually followed through with that, but what I've been seeing from like anonymous ballots and what some Academy voters have been saying, it sounds like you just check a box and say, I have seen this movie. And people were talking earlier in the season about how like, oh, this is going to change things because even though you could theoretically work around it, everybody's going to feel obligated now, and they're going to feel too much guilt and shame if they dare lie. Now we have some anonymous ballots that have come out, and surprise, it sounds like everybody's just cheating and not seeing all the movies. But regardless, it does seem like, from what people have been saying, from what some Academy of voters have been saying, that this requirement to do your homework has made a lot of people enter their ballots later in the voting period than they normally would have, because they're trying, at least in good faith, to get caught up before they make their vote. Craig, do you think that this change in voting habits, anecdotally, could be something that is affecting the results?
So I do think that this is going to impact the results, not so much in like getting a higher quality result, whatever that means. Like, I don't think that it's going to result in many people seeing that many more movies. I think it might a little bit, but I think the big thing is that it's pushing the votes later. So we are seeing like these last minute things potentially impacting the way that people are voting. Like this last minute Jesse Buckley scandal, because so many people are voting late, it could possibly potentially impact her vote. I think that her win is pretty secure. I don't think that this scandal in particular is enough to completely derail that. But I do think that the late voting is going to have a bit of an impact. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, and that is actually one of the reasons why I think we have to take the sinner surge more seriously.
Totally.
Yeah, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, the Actors Awards, as they've rebranded them this year, were held on Sunday the 1st, which means that there was only like 5 days of voting left. And at the Actors Awards, of course, as we've discussed on the podcast, it was a huge night for Sinners. They got the Best Ensemble Cast Award. Michael B. Jordan got Best Actor Award. There was a huge response in the room, just tons of enthusiasm. Normally, with only 5 days left in voting, I would be like, okay, maybe that's a bellwether, but it's not going to change anything because people have voted. If it's true, as people are saying, that so many people are voting last minute, and you definitely are seeing a lot of people in Hollywood like posting, like, in the last day or two, like, oh, I just got my vote, and now
they've got their I voted sticker on.
Yeah, yeah, they've got the ink on their finger. The momentum could be real if there's just so many people that are yet to cast the vote. That sense of momentum, that bandwagoning, that like, oh, there's suddenly a bunch of enthusiasm around Sinners. Great, I'm going to. I was on the fence before, and now I want to hitch my wagon to that. I think that could be something that makes the Sinners surge more real to specifically this year.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. So last year they went with Best Actor first. I hope they don't go with Best Actor first this year, because that's where all the drama is this year. We talked about it at the start of the show a little bit, but I think really it is a question of has Timothée Chalamet really maintained enough momentum to get enough votes to win, or has the Michael B. Jordan surge overtaken him, or is one of these other guys, Leo DiCaprio, Ethan Hawke, or Wagner Moura, going to be a spoiler here? This is a tough one. Me and you, Craig, we've talked about this before, about the perception of Chalamet and his campaign, and I just want to say I already see the narrative crystallizing that Chalamet sabotaged himself by having a campaign that was too cocky and too zany, and I feel like if he loses, that's probably going to be the narrative that wins. I want to kind of preemptively push back against that a little bit, just by pointing out that he was at his most cocky and zany during the original like press cycle right before like the Critics' Choice Awards and the Golden Globe Awards, which he won. And then he kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit and got more humble, and has since lost the BAFTA and the Actor Award. Those are two different things. There's industry awards and critics awards. So that's not necessarily a correlation, but I mean, he was being pretty cocky and zany when he won the SAG award last year. I don't think there's like a clear correlation you can map between him getting too cocky and zany and people losing patience with him. And but we'll see. The narrative will crystallize depending on whether he wins or not. Craig, do you think that Chalamet can pull it off, or do you see this going another way?
I think he's going to miss. I feel like it's a combination of a lot of things, but mainly it's frontrunner fatigue and losing steam. Where it goes from here, I don't know. I think that there is a strong case to be made for Michael B. Jordan. But in one of the anonymous ballots that I read, someone said that Ethan Hawke has spoiler energy, and I said, fuck yeah, let's go. I'm going to pick Ethan Hawke here because that would be fucking fun. That would be a fun way for this race to end. I would like to see it. So I think that it is not just a fun pick. I think it's a distinct possibility. Just being someone that is in the industry for a long time has not really gotten his flowers, and it's a big performance. Like, it's a performance that is impossible to ignore in this and
because it's the entire movie.
Exactly. Yeah. He carries it on his back. And also, like, it's big outside of that fact. Like, if it existed and there was a lot of other big performances, I think it still would stand out. I think Michael B. Jordan has, like, the fact that he's playing two twins that have, like, this really subtle dynamic. I think that is, like, a really good thing that people can sink their teeth into. But the Sinners surge, it feels like it's maybe a little late, and I wonder if there's a bit of a split between Timmy and Michael B. Jordan, and Ethan Hawke comes up the middle. So that's kind of my pick here. Wagner Moura, I think it maybe has my preference pick. I thought that he had a great performance, and it's like it really resonates, and there's a lot of subtlety to it, and I like it a lot. But I like all these performances, like every single one. Even Leo, who we thought this was going to be Leo versus Timmy, and it has turned out not to be that. It's not because Leo's performance is bad that he's fallen off. It's just like he's been nowhere. He's been off filming Marty's new movie. So I like all these performances. I think my preference might be towards Wagner Moura.
Yeah. To what you said about Michael B. Jordan, definitely when I see all the, like, people online and in some of those anonymous ballots pumping up Michael B. Jordan's performance, they are all like, he plays two characters. And for me, that's like the least interesting part about his performance. I do like Michael B. Jordan. I think he's a real movie star. I think he has good screen presence and a lot of great, camera awareness. He knows how to use his space. I think we really saw that in Creed 3, which he directed, and the way he made use of that space. So I think he's he is a real movie star, and I like his performance. But I mean, Wagner Moura played two characters too, by the way. Spoiler alert, kind of, but he played two characters as well. And kind of, who cares? Like, if the award is for who played the most characters, just give it to Robert Pattinson right now. Robert Pattinson played Mickey's 1 through 17. But I don't think it's like a Jeremy Irons and Dead Ringers caliber of twin performance. For the historical record, it would be the second time an actor has won Best Actor for playing double roles in the movie. Lee Marvin did it in Cat Ballou. But the fact that that's the thing that I keep seeing people insist on kind of makes me roll my eyes a little bit, I'll say. Rory, who is your pick for who you think will win the Best Actor?
I think Michael B. Jordan will win for the reasons you guys just said. He's two guys in this movie. And it's like, yep, he sure is two guys in this movie. I thought he was good in the movie, but I don't care that much that he was two guys. Yeah. And then, whereas Wagner Moura at the end, I actually kind of had to do a double take. It was like, is that him? I was like, it didn't register that it was at first. And spoilers for the end of Secret Agent, but it took me a minute to realize that it was actually him. I liked Timothée Chalamet. I think that's probably my pick for my preference would be Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. It was just, it relied so much on his, we already talked about all the craft work of the movie, so I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I feel like the enjoyment of that movie relied so much on enjoying his performance.
Yeah, both can be true.
And not, like, I disliked his character a lot and still really enjoyed him doing it.
Yeah, true.
I think the fact that there's been so many people debating about, like, whether, like, Marty Mauser is kind of a good guy or whether he's a complete asshole, and the fact that is a big debate speaks to the strength of the character and the performance, and that is an example of Josh Safdie doing that kind of 1-for-1 casting and being like, you're going to play a version of yourself, and I think it working really, really well. I do think that the way that Marty Supreme bridges the idea of kind of like the origins of American hyper capitalism, let's say after the Second World War, to like the current like hype beast hustle grind set world is embodied in Chalamet himself and in his performance. I know I'm coming off as like a huge Chalamet stan in this episode, but I'm okay with it. I think the performance is really good, and I would be happy to see him win it for sure. And man, there's been so much discussion about this, even in our like our last podcast generated a lot of discussion, which I really appreciate everybody who commented on the last one. But it's all about, you know, Timmy and whether and I would say maybe a third of it is people saying, hell yeah, the Shala God is on his way to victory, and maybe 2/3 of it is I can't stand that disgusting little man, and I hope he burns. But also a lot of good points were made. A lot of really good points were made that made me really consider it. That the argument for Chalamet winning is that he has like all the important precursors basically, except for the Screen Actors Guild Award and the BAFTA, but the BAFTA went to a British person, so I feel like we can discount that, though we don't know who came in second place. But if we assume that Chalamet came in second place, we can kind of say that, his trajectory to winning on the Oscars is the same as Adrian Brody's last year, where everybody was like rolled their eyes and were like, of course he won. Adrian Brody won all the precursors except for the Actors Award, which went to Timothée Chalamet, but it felt inevitable if we assume that Chalamet was second place at the BAFTAs and kind of consider that as though he won, which of course isn't the same thing. But one of the comments I just wanted to comment out that made a good point was that somebody said that, because I was saying in the previous episode that what shook my faith in Chalamet's ability to win was that loss, because I thought if he had any award in the bag, it was the SAG Award, the one he got last year, from like a younger voting public. And somebody in the comments was pointing out, well, the fact that he won last year probably works against him. They don't want to give it to the same person 2 years in a row. The SAG Awards have never done that. And that's true. They have never done that. Though I would also point out that the SAG Awards only go back to 1995, and the Oscars have also never done that in the same period. But they do have less of a history of awarding actors multiple times than the Oscars do. Might be a random chance, but the idea that that is something that worked against him rather than worked for him, the fact that he won last year, is sort of a reassuring idea for anybody who wants him to win. And
so I want to just like tack on to that. I'm interested in whether or not that includes TV categories, because it feels like TV would be a sector where you would see that more frequently.
Yeah, I'm just talking about movies.
I'm interested like in terms of the appetite of that voting body for awarding back to back, if there is precedent for that within TV.
Well, I'm sure there is, but
let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
There's no other way we'll know.
Yeah. But yeah, then again, at the same time, as much as I've been trying to debunk the idea that Chalamet's campaign has worked against him, there is evidence in the anonymous ballots we've seen that people are saying like, I'm just tired of this guy. He is being harmed, I think, by the long Oscar cycle. March 15th is way too late, by the way. They got to start doing these things in February again. I know they moved it because of the Olympics, but it's happening 3 weeks after the Olympics ended. That's not an excuse. They got to bring this back to February. If he loses, I think the biggest reason that I would theorize is just that the cycle was too long, that people got tired of seeing him on their screens and in their feeds, and that's how it works. It generates automatic backlash, especially to somebody who's voluble and antic and says a lot of stuff.
But winners, they have to finish. You know, it's not over until winners the fat lady sings, as they say in the opera. You do gotta dream big, as a famous person once said. Sean, we didn't do your pick, did we? Did we do your pick?
No, it's not.
Sorry, I was off on one, and I didn't even let you do your pick. Go for it.
I've got Wagner Moura as my preference as well. I really like that performance quite a bit. Although I do like the whole slate. Ethan Hawke is my close second. I don't know if the data bears this out, but I just have this sense that often the Academy likes an elder statesman as opposed to an upstart. So
maybe the data does bear that out.
Okay. That could be good for Hawke there. But the gods of chance say that it will be Leo, which I don't think is the case, but we're marking it down.
You know what? He's in the run. So he's still in the running. He is not, as much as his fortunes may have felt like they've faded since the start of the season because he hasn't really won anything. I think he's still in the running, and
it's anyone's game, I feel like.
An MBJ Timmy split could give him a path forward. We've seen him topping some anonymous ballots again for what it's worth. But all of these performances are absolutely in the running, and there is that bias towards elder statesmen. We've seen some that were a bit surprising, like Chadwick Boseman losing to Anthony Hopkins, which was a lot of people saw it for that reason, that the Oscars like the older candidate who's proven it before. Brendan Fraser beating Austin Butler. These are just in the last few years. Adrian Brody beating Timothée Chalamet last year kind of falls under the same heading. So for a lot, and we've talked about this a lot on the show, for the older voters, do they think that Chalamet has earned it enough yet at this point, despite being only 30 years old, and he would be the second youngest person to ever win it if he could get it. I think despite being like, I think 9 years younger than Michael B. Jordan, he does have more of like an Oscar-friendly track record in terms of having been in prominent films. I like Michael B. Jordan. I think he's a movie star, and I think he will continue to prove it more and more. I hope so. I know he's directing a new movie now, I believe, and I look forward to see what he does as a director outside of a franchise. But like, a lot of people clowned on Chalamet a while ago, and Craig, you mentioned this in an early episode, because the American Cinematheque in LA held a retrospective of his career, and people were like, "What the? He just started yesterday. What do you mean a retrospective of his career?" But the retrospective of his career did have movies by Denis Villeneuve, Christopher Nolan, Luca Guadagnino, Greta Gerwig, Josh Safdie. Less well reported on was that Michael B. Jordan also had a career retrospective, also at the American Cinematheque, also last year. And his career retrospect was like a Ryan Coogler movie, another Ryan Coogler movie, another Ryan Coogler movie. So I think part of the reason why I feel like Jordan has to still prove it more than Chalamet does, despite being a bit older, is that all of Jordan's career hits are with the same director. But none of that has any bearing on the actual performance themselves. I'm going to pick Timothée Chalamet to win. I think he still has I'm banking on the fact that he still has enough momentum to pull it off. So I'm calling Chalamet to still win. Though if I'm going for preference, I think I'm also going to echo the sentiment that Wagner Moura is my personal preference. That's a very effortlessly realist, charming, and also principled performance that really, really, really impressed me a lot. All right. I'm going to shut up about Chalamet now. I promise. It's what the people want to hear.